What's up, y'all? Time to do a breakdown of my first loss of this year, and I totally know the reason why, but I have no excuses. So I'm gonna just go through what I was thinking and um, also go through my trading system to show you where I failed uh, based off my thinking and not following my system verbatim. As you can see, today is Tuesday the 10th. Um, I trade the ICC strategy, which is basically your uh, indication, correction, and continuation. So what we're looking for is the break. When we're looking for buys, we're looking for that break, which is called the indication, and then we're waiting for the correction. And then after the correction, we are waiting for a break of structure on the smaller time frame, hence the 15-minute time frame in this situation to catch a continuation on up. That's the basic gist of the strategy, and that's what I trade because I find it to be the best, in my opinion, and the simplest. So here you see we got the indication. We broke this 1 hour high. We got a correction back to or near the indication, and then I was hoping to catch it on up for a continuation. So as far as my rules go, I do have my pre-market checklist and everything checked out for today. News was reviewed, higher time frame identified, key levels was marked up, liquidity zones, New York session context was clear for me. My risk was defined 10%, and my emotional state was still there. Now, granted, I'm still am sick, but that is no excuse. So with all that checking out, I hopped over to my strategy entry checklist. Rule number one applied. Did price make a clear indication on the 1 hour time frame in the higher time frame direction? So yes, this is my indication. Two, did price make a correction back to or near original indication? Yes, price came back down to and near the original indication. So when I get this, I hop down on my 15-minute time frame. Here's where I start to look for the market structure shift because my rule number three, I'm waiting for a break of structure. So my rule number three, the price breaks make a break of structure on the 5 or 15-minute time frame in the direction of higher time frame bias. So I was looking for a break of structure on the 15-minute for buys. So 9:30, let's remove this. My 9:30 candle was, or 9:30 candle was here, price went down. And so in order for me to buy, I'm looking for it to break the last structure, which was here. I'm waiting for price to break this structure. So what I did instead of staying focused on this chart is I looked at my NQ's brother, US 500, and around 9:45, 10 o'clock, I seen that it broke structure before NQ did. So, and I also saw that it had a higher low and it made it higher high. So I was thinking the same thing on NQ. It made a higher high, but what I didn't realize was it didn't make the higher low. And I had the higher low on US 500 in my head because here it made a higher low. This low is higher than this low. So I had this higher low in my head for NQ and the higher high here for NQ as well. So in my mind, we got the breaker structure. So I went to rule number 4 and I changed it to no now because it wasn't there. But before I marked this yes because in my mind I had if we're buying, did price make a higher high and a higher low? And so I had it in my head, yes, it was because I had in my mind that the higher low from US 500 was the higher low for US, I mean for NQ. That was my mistake. So this should have been a no, which would have led to a low probability trade, and I wouldn't even mark the yes on either of these, which would have been no's on both of those, which would have been a no trade. And so I failed. The system didn't fail. I failed by not paying close attention and not and by not following my rules and paying close attention. So in hindsight, what I should have done was not pay attention, or even if I did pay attention to US 500, that's fine. But I shouldn't have, one, I didn't have a higher low, right? So 945 hit, this 10 o'clock candle created that higher high, but it also didn't close. It didn't close bullish. It just wicked above here, and I should have waited for a candle close. And as you can see, none of these candles closed. So that should have been my first sign of patience, and to not get into the trade, because it didn't create that close for a higher high, and it didn't create that higher low until now, or not now, I should say, until noonish. It started to create a higher low, but nonetheless, and then the other mistake I made was when I had my whatchamacallit, I had my stop loss set at 10%, but when I decided to enter, the stop moved to around this area. So I typically always have my stop below the most recent low or high, depending on if you're buying or selling. And in this case, I was trying to buy, so I would normally have my stop here. Nonetheless, it looked like it's going to hit it anyways, but my stop was around here. And it took me out at 1:15 p.m. today. So I made note of it. I put entry, but didn't wait until 15-minute candle close, because I didn't. I got in when this candle was showing a full candle up, but it wasn't closed. So that's my fault for getting in on, I guess you would call that an emotion, because it was I guess when you see this candle in full body, you get excitement, so it's some type of emotion there. I should have just waited for that close and create that high, and then waited for that higher low to develop on the 15-minute time frame. So I made note of that there as far as my entry. I didn't wait for it to close. And then I put why my stop losses. I didn't follow the rules. Stop wasn't below a low, right? Because I had 10% set, and it should have been below this low. And I didn't wait for a higher high and a higher low, period. That is why I lost my trade. My trading system didn't fail me. I failed me by not having patience. Having more patience, waiting for that higher high to form and that higher low to develop as well. Because if we look at yesterday's trade, it panned out perfectly. We waited for this 1 hour indication to happen. It broke this previous 1 hour lower high. Boom, we got the indication. Then it made its correction. And then at 9:30, we can hop on to the 15-minute. $9.30 is this candle right here. We made that higher low at 9:30, right? And so now I was waiting for structure to break here. Change that to red. And so the whole time I wasn't going to enter into a buy unless we made a higher high, meaning the price action had to break this high right here, and then if we had a higher low. So we had a higher low first right here, and then I was waiting for a price to break this previous lower high. So it did it right here, and it closed. That's what I should have waited for today. So broke the side, it closed, and then I just made an entry because I had my higher low and then I had my higher high. So that's what should have played out. Today, I didn't wait for a candle close, and therefore it resulted into a loss. So yeah, we take L's. It's a part of the game. I should have followed my rules, followed my trading system, and I didn't. So I am human. I'm not perfect, and sometimes we just have to be a little bit more patient in this situation and not get caught up in uh, other other pairs, correlation with other pairs, so on and so forth. Just stay sound to your trading plan and your trading structure, and you will be okay. But nonetheless, it is actually a win today because I didn't lose my whole account. I learned the lesson, I documented the lesson, and we move forward. So we're still in the game for sure, and we will have many more profits to obtain. So that's all I wanted to present today as to why I made or took an L. But we shall watch out for tomorrow and see what tomorrow brings us. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Peace out.